Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Brandenburg, simply because I had a ridiculous match in this ship. Typically when I'm playing these secondary battleships where I'm pushing in, brawling it out with people, I tend to get focused out, as I'm sure you guys do. As you push in, you're the easiest target. It just makes sense. But this time they didn't. Yeah, so we just get to walk into this enemy team and they kind of just ignored me. And of course, that's going to lead to good things. This is a full secondary build. We're even using Luchans here. We do have IFHE. And the reason I'm playing the Brandenburg today is not because it's a favorite ship of mine or I especially enjoy it. It's that Black Friday is coming up soon, in the next, I think it's a month away or so, a little longer maybe. Typically, there's going to be a Black Friday event where some of these ships will be on a bit of a discount that you can purchase a premium ship for a better deal than you normally would throughout the year. And it comes with this black color camo and the B version. They are separate ships. So I wanted to go through a lot of these ships and show you guys what they are capable of, what the interesting sides of these things are, if you're interested in spending money on the game. I'm often trying to tell people to wait until Black Friday. This is typically the best deal you're going to get throughout the year if you're interested in spending money on this game. There's going to be quite a few ships, usually ranging from all the way down to tier 6, I think, up to some tier 9s and 10s even. We had Napoli, Yoshino, those kinds of ships were coming into the game in previous Black Friday events. I think this year they're doing a Smolensk B, although that one is going to be an exclusive auction, I think, for doubloons, coal, that kind of thing. So not really all that accessible. These ships, though, are just for a normal discounted price for doubloons or in the premium shop, I believe. So Brandenburg is a bit of an amalgamation of the Bismarck as well as the Odin, kind of. I guess maybe a better way would be the A-gear guns. These are the 305mm guns. You don't get battlecruiser accuracy though, that's for sure, especially running a full secondary build. Although you can get lucky from time to time. We do 10k into the angled Kansas superstructure. Bit of surprise to see that one, honestly. Although I have been playing those Japanese battlecruisers quite a bit recently, which don't do too well against angled battleships with their APs. So this is what normal battleships, even not even very good ones, mind you, are still capable of. That's why I was so disappointed in the AP performance there on angled ships, especially into superstructures of those Japanese battlecruisers. Anyways, enough about those. I've already talked to death about those last week and a bit this week. So Brandenburg is 305mm guns. You get 12 of them though, instead of the 8 you'd usually see on something like a Bismarck. Unfortunately, no hydro here. A bit of a downside. Finally, we're getting into secondary range here. You can see the range is pretty standard here, 11.5, something like that. And they take a while to get accurate. But we do pen 32mm with these secondaries, assuming you do take IFHE. So it's going to do some good work here at this tier against things like the Amagi, the Alsace, the Kansas as well. A lot of 32mm battleships found, so that's where you're going to see a lot of these full pens. We won't get many fires, but the full pen damage should make up for it. No hydro, though, is a pretty big disadvantage, I would say, of the Brandenburg here. It'd be really nice to have, especially with how subs have been introduced to the game now. It's kind of just necessary if you want to be pushing in at all. Even with the hydro, it's almost impossible to push a sub. So very fortunately, our team managed to work together there to take out the enemy sub earlier on in this match, which did allow us to push. There was a carrier in this one as well, though. Like I said, they just kind of ignored me. Maybe because I was on the flank like this, like really far on the flank, and I had some teammates that pushed up with me. The Duncan and the Schroeder, I believe, are going to come with us. So thanks for taking the focus, guys, if that was you. I appreciate it. I don't typically get like games like this, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Brandenburg isn't one of the Black Friday ships, though, that I would really recommend to people. I don't really see it as that powerful or different, is the other thing. It's not that different from a Tirpitz or a Bismarck. The guns, yes, you have a few more of them, but the inconsistencies are still there, and the lower caliber means you're just getting less damage overall out of them. And the lack of hydro, again, I'm going to harp on that a little too much probably, but Bismarck having a hydro really does carry that ship a lot these days for me. over even something like the Tirpitz. The Torps are useful, of course. There we go, getting that beauty shot. Both sides of the secondaries firing. Love to see it. Only accurate on one side, of course, but hey, we're still getting some of the DPM advantages of secondaries on all sides of our ship. Probably should have swapped to the AP here. I wasn't paying too much attention in this game. I think I was live streaming during this one. But still, gonna work out to a pretty good game. We hit 8 shells there. It can be accurate. But overall, this ship isn't that amazing as far as a tier 8 battleship goes. There's our first close quarters expert. We'll get a few more of those. Found the carrier even. Feels good. But I'm looking for Massachusetts B, really. Typically, I'm not going to compare a lot of these tier 8 battleships to a Massachusetts, simply because Massachusetts isn't normally available, right? But there's a Black Friday version of the Massachusetts. Whether or not they actually bring it back this year, I actually don't know what the actual list is going to be for available ships. But it has been available the last couple of years. So you really do have to decide. Massachusetts, Brandenburg. I would go Massachusetts all day on that one. The secondaries aren't going to full pen nearly as much, so the actual pen damage isn't going to be there. But you're going to get a lot more fires, I think, out of the Massachusetts. And I think the main guns are just much better overall. It's a much tankier ship, in my opinion, as well. Even though this time we are at 1.5 million potential damage. We've only used 1 heal, and we're basically full health. I don't think that necessarily counts, just because we haven't really been focused in earnest here by the enemy team. It's pretty much just been an Amagi shooting AP at our bow, and that's how we've been getting this potential damage. So I would definitely take the Massachusetts over it. But if you do happen to want a German premium that isn't a Tirpitz, because the Tirpitz is still available as well, I do think this one is decent. If you're someone who enjoys the 305mm guns and you would rather have these 12 lower caliber guns rather than the 8 bigger caliber Tirpitz guns, because there is a Tirpitz B as well. Pretty similar ships though, I would say. Less HP here on Brandenburg does come into play, I think. A couple more of these close quarters experts, and actually the fire took out the Lexington. That's kind of surprising, given how little fires actually last on these carriers. But 4 kills now with the Brandenburg. Yeah, I don't know how we managed to get to their spawn already without dying. That typically doesn't happen for me. So a really, really good example of Brandenburg. Trust me, not all of my games are looking this good. And yeah, that's gonna be the Kraken. So we get like 160k and a Kraken in a carrier submarine game. I don't know how, but magic can happen. I guess I got pretty lucky in this one, certainly. But that would be my take on Brandenburg. We will be looking at some more of these Black Friday ships as we get closer to the actual sale. But just want to get ahead of the game so you guys know what these ships are a little bit like before the sale comes and there's a little bit of pressure to just buy it. Because, hey, it's on a discount, right? Well, not all of them would be worth it. Yeah, 73,000 damage just from the secondaries alone. Almost more than our main guns there. Kind of crazy. As for the build here on the Brandenburg, like I said, it was a full secondary build. Wow, we can actually barely see the ship in this port. That black camo is very stealthy here. But yeah, Luchin's running a full secondary build here, trying to make use of those secondaries, and we did pretty well in this game. It's not going to work most of the time. A more normal build probably doesn't go full secondaries. Maybe on the commander you still have something like this. Maybe you pull your Schlieffen commander over, or if you have a Pommern or something like that, or you have a Bismarck running IFHE secondaries. They're only really worth running IFHE secondaries on the 105s, because those do need it to actually get up to 32 millimeters of pen here, as you can see. My normal Brandenburg without the commander, 105s only have 26, which is fine. But getting up over 32 is pretty important. But if you get anything with the 128s, like Odin, Kurfürst, Preußen, these kinds of things, they already pen 32, so you actually don't want IFHE. So a little bit of a weird dynamic there. The 105 is very common on things like the Schlieffen line, for example. So you probably have a commander there already if you're interested in those secondary battleships and you do end up getting this thing. Maybe your Schlieffen commander pulled over is pretty okay here. I've elected to not go with concealment. I do prefer fire prevention, although I kind of go back and forth. On these secondary builds, though, I'm always taking fire prevention, no question. If I'm going secondaries, I will take manual secondaries. And then it's a choice of, do I want more DPM, but I die a little quicker? That's typically much better for ranked, where I can guarantee I'm within range. Or in random battles, am I going to play a little more passive, and then I'll run some extra healing? Or if I know I'm going to run in, but I want to get to a specific rock or position without being spotted as quickly, I'll take concealment. That's kind of the idea, at least for now. This last fourth pointer is a little bit of a floater. The other two, though, always take fire prevention, guys. I see way too many battleships without it. It's full secondary builds. It's just way too much damage to be ignoring fire prevention. Fires kill you so quickly in these ships. The rest of the build, though, yep, still full secondary. Maybe aiming systems would be worth it, considering you have 12 guns. You can saturate a better area. I don't know. I would rather play just an accurate battleship outright if I want to play an accurate ship. That's kind of been my perspective on a lot of these German battleships. Anything focused on secondaries, that kind of thing, or that can. I'm going to run them a full secondary build. Not because I think it's better. I think the hybrid builds are better. Done a bunch of videos on hybrid builds with GK and all that stuff in the past if you're interested. But I don't play those ships really all that much when I have a hybrid build on them, because I don't find myself getting in range with the secondaries anyway. And then the easiest example is GK versus Montana. If I'm playing a GK and I'm playing it with an accuracy build and I'm not using the secondaries, well then I'm just a worse Montana. Worse armor, worse guns, worse accuracy. So then I'd just rather play a Montana. That's kind of how I've been looking at it. Obviously, a very privileged perspective as someone who has just all the ships, basically, right? I understand that that's not always possible. So if you do only have these things, a hybrid build would be the way to go if you want to maximize your battle impact over all sorts of games. It's not every match you're going to get lucky like I did in this one, where the enemy team just ignores you, and you get to full secondary everything into their spawn and actually get away with it. So there you go. Black Friday is coming. We will look at some more of these Black Friday ships over the next month or so. Maybe let me know which ones you want to see next. I'll probably be doing them throughout this next month, and maybe I'll take into account what you guys are more interested and not. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.